this week we're drinking beer.
Yeah.
We just returned from a vacation, which never heard of her.
Who's she?
Have literally never been on a vacation ever. Okay. No, it was so short too. It was like 2 days.
Okay, we need to be impeccable with our word now. We're going to do that? We're going to try to 4 agreements this shit?
Yeah, you're right. It was amazing. It was 3 days.
It was 3 days.
But we're also just very rested.
Great.
We have a fresh perspective. I would say probably a fresh energy too.
Yeah. Feels like it, you know? We'll see. I feel like we're still landing, you know?
We also
Give it time.
We wanted to do a podcast about social media, and we thought that, wow, this is a really impeccable time to do that because we've been going through sort of this transformation this year, as we've mentioned on this podcast. I know a lot of you are feeling it. All the astrologers, all my psychics, my spiritual babes are all feeling it. It's like this shit is shifting quickly. Some of us can't even really keep up. It takes your breath away.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing is occurring on social media. Yeah. We've seen a dynamic shift in the way that people consume content, the way that people engage and interact with their favorite creatives on social medias. And so we want to talk about the struggle of constantly having to pivot and evolve and figure out what you can offer in the space of social media as creatives.
And how it is useful as a tool, because it's something that we've been able to use. It's why we have a career.
It is. But I would say if we were still doing the same shit we were doing in 2010 on YouTube, we would not have a career.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, possibly.
Where one point in time, what we did worked, it no longer works.
It does change.
And I think we're in a time period of that happening again.
Yes, definitely.
And so it's really fresh. So I thought, shit, let's talk about social media this week.
Let's do it. And we have a lot. This could go a lot of different ways, because I feel like we have, like I'm saying, like I feel like this is one of the few things that I know probably too much about.
Yes.
You know, just from personal experience, not wanting to really ever, just understanding. Well, it's how we started. Was starting having videos go viral on YouTube, like back before that was, you know, as that was just starting to become a thing. So we've kind of been with this bitch the whole way.
And I remember when Instagram first started, we were in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot and our manager was like, you need to post something to the Carmen Instagram. I'm like, cool. And it was just like, bam, so easy to get likes and engagement back then because it wasn't oversaturated. Yeah. We're in a very different time, especially for Instagram. I feel like Facebook is already like, what even is it?
Exactly. And every time there's a new one, you know, you can get in early and really like, but then it becomes oversaturated again.
Yep.
And then it changes on the back end. And
we missed like MySpace. I mean, I was late on the MySpace train. I never really fully engaged.
I never even had a MySpace.
Yeah. Some kids out there are listening like, what even is MySpace? And now we're on to TikTok, kids. We just fast forwarded to 2020s. We're on TikTok, which was huge for us, especially this last couple of years. And now we're starting to see that algorithm is starting to change as well. When you get such a large volume of people and there's only a certain amount of attention, I mean, kids are watching hours and hours a day, though. I feel like there's an endless amount of attention available.
Exactly. It's just kind of how these things change when I'm sure there's like back end reasons and stuff for like algorithm shit, but when you get that many people on an app too.
Yeah.
So I think it's the most consumed app in the US now.
Yeah.
And which is why then everybody starts doing their own form of video content,
yes,
you know, to try to like keep up with the new thing.
The mental health component of social media is super important to talk about.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. Like this is really difficult. There's times when it feels really easy. And again, that like may be the luck of the draw that day. But it's a bit like buying lottery tickets. Your post every day, how much time you put into it, how much you overthink it, how much you over try versus like not trying at all. And like, you just happen to catch a video of the dog catching the Frisbee that day and you put the right song behind it and you put the right word bubbles up. Like it is very much something that requires surrender and letting go. And I think both Nick and I can admit from a very vulnerable place, like we've been mind fucked by social media.
Yep. Like many times.
Multiple times. People are always telling us, our friends, everybody, oh my God, y'all are such social media geniuses. And we're over here like
legitimately like, I don't know what you mean.
What are you talking about?
We feel like we have no fucking idea.
To be totally honest with you. And it's like some days we're like, yeah, cool. Like one of the videos got a few hits, and this next day it was like trash. Like Though I think the only reason the people perceive us as good at social media is because we're willing to continue to try.
And that's honestly like the whole battle.
You
really.
continue just to fall on your face in public. It's very humiliating.
Yep. And I will say this too. Social media is the only thing that we fight about.
It is.
For the most part, except that and where we're going to eat.
Where we're going to eat.
Or what's for dinner, I mean.
But now I just don't care about food anymore, so I just let you get whatever you want.
I just eat all the fucking time.
So social media is the most, it's everything, right? Because people say, well, if you're creative, don't you want to be on social media? Absolutely. I mean, it is the greatest free promotional tool you can get.
Incredible tool. It really is.
And now they give you the tools. I was just on a thing the other day where they're teaching you how to use like the business manager to get your shop on Instagram and put your links, and you have promotions and
everything's online now.
Oh,
like literally everything.
My God. If you're a creative person and you're selling something, I don't even care what it is. Online classes, pottery, jewelry, stream my music, like all of that.
That's what we're doing.
That's all the major labels are doing. That's all companies are doing now is promoting on social media, y'all.
Yeah. Getting to where the people are.
It's so daunting just to get in the game. So if you haven't watched The House of Herby or listened to House of Herby previous episodes about getting started, finding your purpose, like please visit those earlier episodes. We'll touch on that stuff again in the future, but this has been a really fun season to like give you the kind of path to discover yourself and live this creative life. And I think a lot of the freedom that you crave is going to come from learning how to portray yourself or your brand on social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's Steve's phrase again? Our co-producer, Pompano Puff.
Yes, Pompano Puff is always like, it's about exploiting your authenticity. Yeah.
That's it.
Well, think about the word exploit, right? Not a great feeling.
Right.
Yeah. There was a beautiful artist who I DM'd the other day, and she's popping on Instagram right now. And I was like, hey babe, just feel free to reach out and use me for anything you need. And she was like, Queen, don't tell me to use you. Don't tell me to use you. That's triggering. And you don't, and I'm not going to use you. Like you're a good person. And I was like, damn, even telling someone to exploit themselves is dangerous and scary and traumatizing.
Sure.
So maybe that phrase doesn't work for you, but I just want to say, if you are surrendered and you don't take yourself too seriously, exploiting yourself and your vulnerabilities on social media will be very lucrative for you.
And it just takes a long time. You do have to be willing to develop. It's artist development is what it is.
You're developing yourself and
in public, in real time.
You're getting to eat all the failures and all the victories, like
instead of going out with your guitar and just like failing at your live show as you learn, you're now doing it in public.
It's kind of no different to me.
It's the same concept. You still need to get out there and sharpen your fucking axe, dude.
Man, when I do some like live shows back in the day and I didn't know what I was doing or I didn't know the song, it was so horrifying, y'all. No, it can be so embarrassing.
That is a bad feeling.
So I think the reason we're good at it is because you are willing to get out there and slap a box in front of thousands of people.
Oh man!
Like, are you a percussionist?
Slapping the bass.
No,
I don't know, but maybe.
And you convinced all of us that box was giving us the beat for the song.
Beat the shit out of it.
I didn't know how to play guitar either. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, we did. We were. I think we have been always willing to just go. Put it all the way in.
I think having a little extra faith in your artistry and your creative ingenuity is super crucial for this.
Yeah.
Super crucial. So first of all, yes, I am a big advocate of like, you got to learn how to use social media. Even if you fall flat on your face for 18 months and just make a fool of yourself, at least you're learning. And some people give up early. They're like, let me hire an intern or somebody to do this. It's like, babe, no one's going to be better at it than you.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, because you have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
About the brand or the art.
And it's about developing, it forces you to develop a lot of things like, what's my communication style? What are the things I'm into?
Do I even use capital letters? Do I ever punctuate? These are really subtle,
are all
important things.
Characteristics of who you are.
Yeah.
Just now in a digital space.
Yep.
It is, it can be really overwhelming sometimes. And listen, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, like, it's not like it's not potentially life-changing, and that's like the lottery ticket thing that makes everybody keep going back.
It is.
You know what I mean? That's like the user mentality of
every day it's a lottery ticket.
It really is.
That's how much you have to let go when you post that shit.
And that's how easily addictive and negative it can become.
Yes.
So it is something you have to really see as a tool. And I think for us, because we still do this, you can't take it too seriously.
Yes. And you got to remember, these motherfuckers designed social media off of...
And it's always changing.
They designed it off of like the slot machines.
Yes, to keep you there.
They hired the same dudes that made slot machine technology to design
Is that what it was?
the
Something like that?
functionality of social media and the reward cycles. Yeah, there's some really good documentary on Netflix that talks about this. It's a very negative one. Again, we are so on board with the negativity about social media, but we also have personally experienced how life-changing it can be if you're willing to do these things, and maybe having a support system of friends that you're like, yo, my TikTok got 3 views today, bro. You know, like have a little bit more of a easygoing attitude. Don't isolate yourself too much, because you start to feel crazy.
Yeah, and know that everybody feels the same way about it. There are people who we talk to are the same thing. They're like, Jesus, dude, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And like my views have dropped by 75% or something like that. And it's like, it's the same shit, which maybe you could argue like people have moved on, but it's like, it could also be the thing that you're known for. And they still, it's like, no, this is kind of like, this is working on other platforms still.
Yeah, you have to be.
That's the other thing. There's 18 fucking platforms now. It is a lot of, you kind of create for one, and usually cross post, just kind of like post it across all of the different platforms.
Yeah, when he says cross post, that basically means if you're an Instagram girl, you're going to take your same video and just repurpose it on Twitter, YouTube,
TikTok,
Facebook, TikTok. So the only other thing you can do to remove your creative audience off of these platforms is to own that list of your followers and be able to connect with them directly. Is a mailing list.
Yeah. Still relevant.
This is so old fashioned, but like I'm guilty of I want to send one to y'all every week, but it's a lot of work to design this and get it out and manage it. And so.
And the big key, absolutely.
Priorities.
Yes. Well, and the big key, and we've also, I feel like, been under a major restructuring phase the last, honestly, like 6 months.
Yep.
Which is why we feel like we haven't really like landed on a lot of things in our life,
right?
As well as creativity. So it's kind of like been this warbling, like really uncomfortable period for us.
For sure.
And in that too, you don't really know who you are on socials or as a person.
So when we get discouraged and we're like sort of in this weird limbo phase of like, who are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? Why? It's helpful. What we noticed on our little vacation was that we recapped our whole creative journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so helpful, y'all. Like we sat there and went through like where we met in Berklee College of Music. And then we started the band Carmen, and then like blew up on YouTube and through the labels and through the indie project, and then killing Carmen, going to Queen Herby. Like we sat in the car for hours and just recapped. Mm-hmm. And we were like, yo,
just in a parking lot.
No matter where I'm going next, I know that it's going to be fucking incredible. And I want you to know that if you're listening to this right now and you're like, bitch, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life and my creativity and my artistry, I want you to go back to the first time you painted that picture. And I want you to just trace your steps to how you got here and remind yourself that you're dope and we need your art, and it's going to work itself out. And social media is an amazing tool for that. And we're going to be here for you as a resource to constantly report back like what we find and what we learn. Because another thing is nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, nobody does want to talk about it. It's the Ring.
Wait, which Ring? The movie?
Social media is
or the Lord of the Rings ring. Like the ring, the man's.
As soon as it starts, this
the one ring to rule them all.
Hair across her head comes out of the well.
7
Dad,
days.
Can you log off of Instagram now?
Is it the 7 days, bitch?
That's the ring, like
Saruman.
Lord of, Sauron. It's Lord of the Rings. Okay, not the White Wizard, Amy.
Okay,
it's the ring. Like
use the Force, Harry. Love Gandalf.
That's one of my favorite memes. If you are on social media too much and you take it too seriously. It's like carrying
the ring. It's too much. You start to become greedy, and your focus becomes really narrow.
That's what I think you are unable to zoom out, your perspective gets a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it still can't be incredibly effective and you can't do a lot of wonderful things with it. The major thing, and this is a big thing that you always preach,
yes,
is you just have to, if you're trying to learn what to create or need help or like still just feel like you're adding something to the world, just what we always say is, are you giving value?
Yes. Lead with value. Money follows value.
Money follows value.
So, and money is any form of abundance. I say money, but it's actually followers and engagement and success and all this stuff is like,
puppies.
if you're giving value out every day, like you're changing people's lives. Mm-hmm. And so that's something we always go back to in times like this when we're questioning, okay, how do we move forward? Is it more videos of me like putting tape over my nipples? Or
yes.
Or is this an evolution? Is this a moment where we take our creativity and we give it to you in a new way? And it's very exciting. It's almost like making a new album. It's a lot of pressure, especially at the beginning but nobody tells you, hey, like the algorithm changed, girl. You're going to have to change your approach on social media. It didn't just happen.
Yeah. Or now there's like 6 million new monthly daily users. So it's going to change.
You're welcome. Yeah. So it is a lot about that. Is giving value for me. During the pandemic, the aura cleanses were popping.
How they started.
And they still pop.
Yeah.
But I have noticed a shift. It's like there's more people now doing spiritual healing videos, which I love to see. But it's like once it becomes saturated or folks are inspired by you and they start doing what you do, you are now getting an opportunity to create a new thing. We call them verticals. This is a nice little keyword. You got to get a new vertical.
And that what we mean by that is just pretty much visual branding. So like whatever,
I don't mean vertical video, which is actually what we're talking about, but like your vertical, like for a while, my vertical was singing my songs at the microphone and putting the lyric bubbles, which we still can do.
Which we still do whenever you drop like a new
song.
Yeah.
Because that familiarity is so nice. They see the green loft or whatever, and they're like, oh, here we are, Queen Herby's place again.
Yeah, there she goes.
The healing ones are a great vertical for us.
And you started doing the healing ones because you wanted to offer more value, right?
Yeah, I just felt you kind of have to read the room, right? During the pandemic, it was like, oh shit, everybody's afraid and terrified and angry and sad. Yeah. And so I was like, what's the opposite? This is our perspective episode the other week. It's like, what's the opposite of that?
Rage.
No, it's relaxation and maybe joy. Joy is hard to reach if you're sad. It's hard to jump straight over to it. So I was like, well, shit, what does everybody need to do? They need to relax. People need to feel safe for like 10 seconds if possible. And so I used everything I learned, like back when I was going through the Carmen stuff and we were stressed about that, I found ASMR videos and I was like, well, what vertical is that? Yeah. So think about, as a creative, think about your verticals, right? If you make pottery, like what could your vertical be? My favorite videos are the videos of artisans making things with their hands.
Totally.
Oh my God. So you need to get a tripod with a little phone attachment, right? Those are like $30 on Amazon tops. You learn to set your tripod up, and while you're working, I want you to film it and then get in there, get into TikTok or Instagram and start learning to use the editor in the app. The reason I'm saying this, you can get Final Cut Pro or like iMovie and like learn how to do this and get a real camera. Babe, listen. We did it all. Mm-hmm. We did all of that. And really it comes down to like a phone and a tripod and the app. It's so easy. And that way,
unless you want to be like a photographer, like maybe then go out and get the real camera.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
But like the iPhone photos are winning art shows.
I know. No, it's
people
crazy.
are shooting films on iPhones now.
I know.
I'm sure the Google phones are the same. I'm sure the Samsung phones are the same qualities.
Yeah, no, they're getting crazy. I know the camera, and now my only problem is that I now need a bigger hard drive on the phone.
Yeah.
Because I run out of space all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like pictures of Gary, pretty much.
Just pictures of poodles.
Luna playing fetch.
Yeah. This is why our social media we're having to change it because we just can't focus.
Can it just be Gary?
Yeah. Maybe we
just need to exploit Gary's authenticity.
Dog vertical is a big dog verticals, but you got to film them all day doing weird shit.
So back to exploit your authenticity real quick, because sure. I think that's a wonderful, I know if people are, triggered by that word, then, but just the idea of really taking advantage of your uniqueness And that's always just going to continue to be a through line on if you want to be an artist or just want to make yourself more unique or want to find out who you are. There are so many things on that social media forces you onto like we were saying, what do you sound like? What do you wear? Do you need to get dressed up first? Do you not? Do you care? Is it fly on the wall? Is it not you at all? It's your hands as you're making your pottery.
Have you found your community?
Yeah.
That's another reason besides just getting famous and making money and making content. It's like social media will allow you to have an identity and connect with people from all over the world that are like you.
Yeah.
That's the goal of this, is to gather a tribe of people around you that are like-minded. They're out there, and it's the most wonderful and rewarding
And they're from
feeling.
all over the fucking planet. And
They
it's
are.
wild as fuck, and it's a beautiful thing.
And I didn't mean to say it was bad, right, for people to copy your vertical. Like, people are copying each other's content all the time, or somebody does a fashion. I'm inspired by so many fashion women, and I'm always like, oh my god, how did they do that transition? And I'll try to do it, and so it's something where you'll never run out of ideas, and you'll start to learn the language of your people.
Yeah.
The fashion people do this, and you just try it on for yourself and put your own little unique spin on it. Maybe something you change about it will make it so much more appealing, and then you'll affect the whole community. And then you're DMing with your faves, and you're like, hey girl, where are you based? Oh my god, you're in Toronto? Like, I'm gonna go up there and visit my uncle next month. Like, let's get coffee, girl, let's talk about this. Like, super rewarding in that sense of things too.
And there are so many things that so we talk about this all the time. Even you starting to rap was something that seemed like either too obvious or just like you were like, no. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that you are really good at.
Yes, talking to you out there.
That you don't, the proverbial all of you, that you just kind of brush off. And you're like, yeah, whatever, that's just what I do. Or that's just like, whatever, that's just me. Those are other people maybe can't do those things.
Yes, you'll be shocked at what people want to watch you do.
Yes.
There are people who clean.
Again, why does that sound sexual?
Every time. Well, there are people that
Fans
clean
only,
houses.
/Nick /
Fans only. Why do you always call it fans only every time?
It's not actually, it's funny.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Moving on. There are people that clean apartments, dirty apartments. They do that. That's their vertical.
On YouTube or on whatever?
On YouTube, I've seen it. I'm sure there's vertical versions, short versions of this, of people. Thank you. Alex is confirming.
I've been seeing those.
So do you watch?
It's hitting your algorithm.
Satisfying.
Do both of you watch these?
Yes.
Yes, and they are on TikTok.
Thank you. See, I already feel so validated but now I don't give a fuck. If it's weird and I watch it, I'm like, bring it on. Give me more. Show me something else.
I am the minority in this room of
Nick
people
gets
that watch those videos right now.
You get like sports and boys stuff.
It's totally random. It's a lot of film music stuff.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
also angry men. I just see him watching videos sometimes, and it's just some talking head, and he's like, rah, 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 rah,
what is it?
and it's
that's
some
probably
guy.
Sports. Is it what angry what?
I don't know.
Eric
What
Andre.
straight guys do. They just yell.
They just yell at each other about sports that don't matter.
Yeah. What I want to see is straight guys crying. When I see that on your feed, I'll be really. It's time. Let your emotions out, baby.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Straight
guys crying.
That's the new vertical I want to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people cleaning apartments is cute because it's very satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought the same thing. I was like, why do I like this? But that's what TikTok did, right? It showed you that anything you think is unique to you or weird, there's someone else out there.
There's 6 million other kids doing the same thing.
I wanted to know, how is she going to get all of that calcium buildup off the tub?
Totally.
How is she going to do it? She set up the tripod and she did it, y'all. She did it.
How long? Is it a time lapse?
I don't know. Look, and that's another thing to keep in mind. You might figure out your vertical is cleaning dirty apartments, and your video is going to be like 6 hours long. You got to figure out how to condense it. That's my first piece of advice. Try to cut the fat if you can, because most people don't have time to watch the whole 6 minutes unless they're trying to fall asleep, which is a great piece of content. A long form content is great for folks
like literally
who need to relax.
Like you're gonna put this on to fall asleep, and you're like, I got you.
Yeah.
Almost everything is out there now, or is available, or has a community of people that regularly watch it.
A lot of people can't sleep.
A lot of people can. I'm a lot better now, but for most of my life, I was an awful sleeper.
Have you tried ASMR?
I did try it a few times. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I did.
You have to find your people. You have to find your vertical. You have to enjoy it. Don't lose the joy, people.
Man,
it's easy for this to happen.
It's so easy. And we are preaching it because it's the first thing we forget, and we do it all the time. But keep the joy. Just keep the joy.
If ever you're not having
follow
fun
the joy
on social media, maybe take a couple days, take a step back, see if there's something else funny and less serious that you can do.
Yeah, because we do the same thing. We immediately make it way too serious.
Yeah, that's like if you bought a lottery ticket every day, and every day you were like, this is it. My life depends on this ticket.
I hope this wins.
And every day you lose, right? Eventually you might win something, right?
Yeah, when you're like fucking 75.
Yeah, I got $17.
Oh my God, I won a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
And celebrate every little thing. If for you 17 likes is a lot, celebrate that.
Celebrate it.
Because guess what?
Do it.
Before you know it, it's going to be 1,700. And then before you know it, it's going to be 17,000. Like it really
And then every time you get there, you'll still be dissatisfied with whatever. You just want to always be expanding and making it bigger, which is why you want to keep coming back to it. But it is a wonderful tool, and it's something that we're still learning to use like as a society.
Yeah.
Which kind of sometimes can make it a little scary, but it is a wonderful tool, especially for creatives. And there are, I can't, like, things that you think are boring for yourself or your whatever random special talent that you think no one will ever. Yes, probably odds are there's a huge audience for it now on the internet.
Yes, and you can find them. I have faith in you, and we need your art. So if you have any specific questions about specific social media things, we do have a Q&A episode popping off next week, and if we miss your question that week, we probably will be doing more.
Never going to answer it.
Never, yeah. If you don't get on the Q&A episode, your question will never be answered. The other thing I wanted to touch on in this episode is haters. Because this is something that
this could be a whole other.
Because I just want to look out for y'all. I want to protect your energy. I want to protect your auras from what is bound to happen if you reach any form of success whatsoever. Even if you're getting 17 likes, which is worth celebrating, and it feels like it's not that much, there might be some haters still come for you. Like these trolls are just waiting online. They're feeders. They're probably very sad, possibly narcissistic, depressed, anxious, fearful people.
Well, okay. So what
they're out there.
What's your energy got to be? Yeah, they're out there. And you just cannot take any of this shit personally. Anybody who's out there leaving a really negative comment on social media is not in a happy place.
Like if you have ever left a negative comment, how did you feel before, during, and after?
Right.
It can't be good, right? I can genuinely say I've never done it. I'm not bragging. I just don't have it in me to do that.
I don't have a reason to. Yeah. I'm like, why would I? What am I doing here?
But when you think about it, the reason I would is because I felt so isolated and so alone and so afraid.
Or angry or a variety of, kind of like tough feelings to have.
Really difficult to think this way when somebody leaves a nasty comment.
Yeah.
On your thing,
and they'll trip you up, and they'll still come. And
it'll still bother you. You might not sleep very well.
And it's now becoming, since like now everybody is on the internet, it's becoming just like commonplace. It's just everywhere.
It is.
So it is something. It is kind of part of the game a little bit.
And some of them aren't even real. Some of them now are bots. I'm like, really? You program the bots to say shitty things? Could you have just like put something nice?
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah.
Again, why you have to kind of see it as a tool, not take it seriously, flirt with it,
Yeah. I think one of my first experiences with a hater was when we were doing Carmen covers, and we did a cover of Janelle Monáe's Tightrope. And that was a really fun. I was so excited. I did my hair, in my little hairstyle. And I love Janelle Monáe, like especially that album, like the Arcandroid album really changed my life. And we were just starting out, and you were playing the box and I was playing the guitar, and we were like, tip on the tightrope, tip on it. Mm-hmm. And we were having so much fun, and I was like, yeah. And it started to get some views. And this one guy left this comment that was like something, I don't even remember what he said. I don't even remember, but it was something very judgmental. And I was like, damn, I could tell he was intelligent. And so I immediately started being like, well, should I take this seriously? Like, maybe he's right. Maybe I am like a shitty artist or something, whatever he said to me. And then I was like, wait a second. I could respond and say, a lot of I had never considered like what would I respond to a hater with, right? And I realized the song lyrics, the Janelle Monáe song, was like, some people talk about you like they know all about you. When they get down, they doubt you. Or something like her second verse was like literally what I needed to respond to this hater with. And I was like, dude, you didn't even listen to the song. So I was like, I quoted the Janelle Monáe lyrics back to him.
Nice.
As like an intellectual response, but also loving and like, hey, look, this is the song.
Literally,
you should have listened to this.
You were just fucking listening to.
And then his response was something like, "Oh my God, I didn't think you would respond. Like, I actually love I love your music. I did it
every time, dude. Every time.
It's so exhausting, y'all. They don't mean it.
This is also
they're crying out for attention. This is why people say don't respond
every time. Yeah,
because
I remember.
You don't want to give them that glory, but it's also like, I was firm. I was kind of firm with that one.
Yeah, no, that's good. You do have to be firm. Yeah. Don't let them take you out of your swagger.
Yeah.
Out of what you do, because they're everywhere. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's easy. It's easy to be a piece of shit on the internet.
Yeah. You
want to do something hard, be nice, be kind.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. And if you need to hear a song about this, F Myself is a Queen Herby song that is specifically about, thank you. It's specifically about this. It's like in the bridge of the song, which we love a bridge. I'm like, dude, imagine what you could be doing with your time. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I just think about haters and I'm like, imagine how brilliant you could be if you were in your power.
All you're doing is wasting your time right
This
now.
is how much you're affecting me with your negativity. Like imagine if you flipped that shit and used that energy for your own, you would be more famous than me, bitch.
Yeah. What is it? Like, time is the only resource we can't get back.
That's it.
And that's what you're choosing to do with your time.
Yeah.
So
it's a choice. So if you've ever been a hater, we love you. You actually help us move the needle too. When there's an influx of hate comments on our videos now, where this is
a very real thing too.
And this is maybe only, I don't know, this probably happens at every level. But when you get an influx of hate comments, it actually means you're reaching a new circle of viewers.
Yes. So what we found is, as soon as there's like a ton of haters that comment or something, all the numbers go up.
All the numbers.
Because you got outside of your little bubble, and then all of a sudden there's this whole, and it's usually a lot of people's first reaction of something is like, oh, that's terrible. And the second time they're like, I don't know, it's cool. And third time they're like, I really like it.
Yeah. It's
like the music evolution of opinions.
See, we're laughing about it now, y'all, but it hurt. Look, it still hurts me. Actually, this is the year that it felt like it switched for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But damn, I've been going for decades, bitch. This has taken me a long time to get over.
It's tough.
It just happened this year because there was somebody, I think it was when our song Rabbit Hole was blowing up on TikTok, which I can understand how people were like annoyed because it got so popular. Imagine like every time you open your phone, it's like, seriously, like people were like, stab me in the eye. Okay. I understand you. Okay. That was not my doing. Yeah. Okay. The people took that one to where it needed to go. And I'm so grateful to everybody who streamed that and posted your video to that. But it was like some influx of like young girls, I feel like, were making videos that were like, this song literally sucks, or whatever. They said something horrible that I probably shouldn't say. And I remember for the first time, I think you showed me one, or I've stumbled over one. I was just like, Anyway, like it was the first time it didn't bother me.
That is a incredibly powerful place to be.
But I can't tell you why all of a sudden it switched like that, because I used to get real upset.
Maybe you've had enough time with it and you're able to let it go now. That's awesome. No, that's fucking huge, dude.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a huge, because you're no
longer...
So
have faith. It doesn't feel like this forever.
Yeah. But know that everybody kind of goes through it too. And it's just kind of like, dude, really?
Yeah. If your feelings aren't hurt, then you have no feelings, which is weird.
Yeah. But you really have to if you can read that chapter in the 4 Agreements, like, do not take it personally to the point of the most extreme.
Yeah.
Do not take it personally. You just can't, because they're not, it's not anything that anybody would ever say to your face. It's because it's just like this faceless entity. They just click it and it just goes off into the Ethernet, and it's just fucking, they never have to see it land on the other side. So it feels like it's not actually to a person.
And believe it or not, the pain that they caused you is coming back to them in multiples, unfortunately.
that's
Like
also a true thing.
the karmic law is 3 times. I mean, come on. If you hurt my feelings, that's why I'm like, it's kind of good that it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore, because I don't want them to be in more pain. I want this to stop.
Yeah.
But until we get there, as a society,
It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
No, it is really, really crazy. But yeah. And you'll see ebbs and flows of that. But like we were saying, when the haters, we learned this from Carmen, because at first we were mortified that there were some negative comments.
Yes.
And then but then we were
perfectionists. We were like, but if
like,
you don't like us, then.
Well, like, dude, but the video got like 4 times more views than the last one.
Yes, that's true.
Or the ones that didn't get outside of the bubble. And so we also would notice that for every one really vocal hater, there were like also 9 people that were silently really into it.
Yeah. So a lot of people too, when you're reaching a new circle, the haters are the loudest. The people that actually dig what they're seeing are like, think about your behavior when you check out a new thing. When you see something for the first time, you don't immediately start commenting, "Oh my God, sis, this is crazy. I love it."
Or maybe you do, and you're very supportive.
Love you for that. If you don't do that, though, it's kind of a normal, like for me, when I find new shit, I'm like, well, let me see another one. Let me watch another song and see. Because you want to make sure you're like, should I fangirl right now? Like, it's a thing. Like, why do we look at that as currency? Shouldn't we just love something to love something?
Yeah.
But that is the natural human response. So when you see an influx of haters, there are at least 9 or 10 other people that are saying nothing right now.
Yeah, it's okay. You're getting out of the bubble, and that's good.
Yes, and it means you're causing a ruckus, and people.
You've got disruptive content, kid.
You're causing a ruckus, and people like it.
That's a real thing too. Like the age of like people use this all the time now, but it is just like making disruptive things. And that doesn't always necessarily mean like super controversial or just being like offensive or anything like that. If that's what you're into, good luck.
Most of my fear about creating freely on the internet was about like being canceled and all these things. Well, I needed to do some research on some topics that I could be canceled for so that I could understand and respond appropriately. Mm-hmm. So it is requiring us to step our pussies up.
Yeah.
Too.
That's a way to look at it.
You're exploiting your authenticity. It's vulnerable. Yep. It's scary. And the more you open up and the more you take risks, the better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's just a life lesson that's now just on the internet now. It's just everything is digital. But that's a life lesson too. You have to, there's a reason on that fucking Hawkins scale, 200 is the breaking point between integrity and not, and it's courage. Damn, bro. That shit is hard as fuck. That's amazing to me. That makes everything lands. It's like, wow, that's how I realize it makes sense for how my brain works. Because
even the universe wants you to be courageous and put your shit out there.
But the universe also acknowledges that it's not easy.
Right.
What I found too with social media as well then too is you have to fall in love with the process. You have to, whatever you are posting on social media, I think should really just be your lifestyle or should be documenting. Sometimes this is a Gary Vee thing, documenting, not creating.
Don't create, document.
Don't always try to write a skit or something. Maybe if you do, that's your thing. That's great. But more just document what you do naturally.
Dude, it's awkward as hell if you're out in public, like, I'm going to the UPS store and you like just turn your camera on. But like, this is what
it happens so much now.
This is what allows you to capture those moments. So maintain your own integrity, maintain your own power. This does not run your life. It is a tool. And you need to keep your creativity and your artistry at the core.
Yeah.
That's
offering
super
value.
important. Mm-hmm. This is just a tool to share it with others. Your true fans and your true tribe and community will find you regardless, and it will be wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. We got this week's A-OK, which is Act of Kindness. I love how people are saying A-OK. Is that somebody else's t-shirt? Can we take that? Acts of kindness this week come from Handsome Betty. We got one from Handsome Betty. Here we go. I want to share my A-OK. A fellow classmate was feeling really bummed because class had been hard and keeping up with the assignments can feel overwhelming. I tried to give her a little pep talk, but most students have heard the spiel of how to organize time management better. I noticed on her pen she had a Barbie doll head on the end, but it was specifically a Scary Spice doll head. I recognize it having been a young girl in the 90s. Later that night at home, I noticed on my altar laid 3 doll microphone headsets from the Spice Girls tour collection. I grabbed one, and the next time I saw her, I told her I had something for her. She was so happy and gave me a huge hug. I just wanted her to feel seen and maybe find the kindness in the world to not give up on herself.
Oh shit, bars.
That is such a fun story.
Wow, that's a great story. Deza, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Deza Berry?
Yep.
Deza Berry. I left flowers for the neighbor because she seemed like a sweet lady that deserves to smile. Thank you. You have inspired me. I just quit my toxic job in retail, and a day later, an amazing opportunity opened up. Wow. Now I will be working with local artists and dogs.
What?
Yes! This is why I love you and your art. Oh,
wow,
no shit.
That's so sweet.
Oh, you should have stayed at that job longer then.
See, Dessa felt it happen immediately, like gave flowers and she quit her job, an amazing opportunity. Like it starts to feel like the universe is talking to you.
Yeah, the universe it becomes literally like a movie.
It's a conversation.
Ray Liotta, R.I.P.
So
shows up.
Fun. It's fun to like flirt with it and be like, I left flowers for this lady, and then this happened, and of course it did because I'm wonderful.
You just got gifted all this shit.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's really hard to talk shit about you guys. I was hoping that could be our vertical. To like talk shit about just people doing nice things, but the Buddha Betch has one more for us. I just think we should read all of these because they're wonderful. I wanted to share with you an A-OK that will give you all the happy feelings. Smiley face. I had a guy tailgating and road raging behind me driving. Plot twist. We are going to the same drive-thru. I think, kill him with kindness. So I buy his meal, not the tailgating road raging guy. Okay, we can make fun of Buddha Betch. He gave me a smile and wave and drove behind me with extra distance again when we started driving.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he did. Boom.
You literally saw.
Fucking Gandhi'd that shit.
You saw what happens.
Damn.
Yo, people start acting like reasonable humans when you're nice to them. What is that about?
And we don't want any of that shit.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's cool.
The cure for road rage. See, all these guys just need a Happy Meal.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, all the ones with the loud motorcycles. What did he order? Oh my God. That was easier to talk shit about.
It was like 6 vanilla ice creams.
Right. With extra rainbow sprinkles.
Extra rainbow sprinkles.
Oh, that's so sweet. We love hearing your stories. You know, you can leave us comments on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Listen, we don't care where you leave them, to be perfectly frank. To be frank, Alice or Amanda.
I didn't know you were Frank.
Okay. We just love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. We hope you've learned something special about social media and about haters that will help guide your art work out into the world, because we need it. And we love doing this with you. We love being your cheerleader. We love all the amazing, it's not just us cheering you on. We're learning shit at the same time. So thank you again. I'm Queen Herby. This is Jedi Nick, and we will catch you next time.